Introduction. What follows is the story of a gangster called Red. He is the son of Argentinian immigrants, the product of poverty and a broken penal system, and a child of the streets. He's the head of a drug ring and a convicted thief. Red witnessed his first murder in middle school. He dropped out of school on his 16th birthday and was arrested 13 times before his 19th. His knuckles are worn to nothing from years of gangbanging and frequent visits to Florida's correctional facilities. For 20 years, he raged against the reality he was dealt, obeying the only rules that kept him alive, the code of the streets. This is also the story of a man named David Lee Windecher, a dual-licensed attorney in Georgia and Florida, a God-fearing man, protective older brother of 3, tutor to aspiring lawyers, and vocal advocate for the impoverished youth. David is invigorated by his work, enjoys the company of dear friends, and loves his family more than life. Above all material things, he prizes character, discipline, and integrity, and he believes entirely in the power of young people to rise above their circumstances. He believes it because he's done it. Both of these stories are mine. I grew up on the other side of white picket fence perfect. Raul Windecher and Laura Windecher, my parents, were Argentinian natives who immigrated to the United States in 1977. In 1978, I was born in East Los Angeles, the gang capital of America. Los Angeles, home to Latin Kings, Bloods, Crips, Tres Puntos, and the Windechers. My parents tried to shield us, my brothers, sisters, and me, from it, but there was no denying my hometown was a scary place to grow up. Fewer than 25 miles southwest of Los Angeles are the cities Compton and Watts, the African-American equivalent of the Hispanic-saturated East Los Angeles. The tracks, in this case, literally separated two worlds. On one side were Hispanic gangs, on the other were the African Americans. These two areas of Los Angeles County made up some of the most dangerous square mileage in the United States. The communities were filled with turmoil, violence, oppression, and an alarming lack of the necessary resources for communal progression. So when people say, "I grew up in the hood," I tend to laugh. Chances are they have no idea. In America, my father always had blue-collar jobs and blue-collar hands to match. They were rough with the calluses he earned doing hard, honest work providing for his family. He was always about family. In 1985, my father was painting industrial machinery as an independent contractor for a private company. For his 6 months of manual labor, my father received nothing. The company refused to pay him, and as the weeks passed, my parents' meager savings began to thin. With a wife and 4 children under the age of 7 to care for, my father had no choice but to pursue legal action. He represented himself and sued the company for breach of contractual services in a bench trial, a trial heard by a judge without a jury, and was awarded several thousands of dollars. But my father never saw a penny. The company employed a private attorney and appealed the judge's ruling. It took months to get back to court, and my father struggled in the interim to keep us above water. When the appeal was finally heard, my father lost. He couldn't afford to pay an attorney, and unlike in criminal cases, the court will not appoint public counsel in civil cases. My father barely spoke English. He never stood a chance. Justice was denied him not because he was wrong, but because he was foreign and because he was poor. We were forced to leave California and move back to my parents' motherland of Argentina. My father's heart broke, and the first seeds of bitterness were planted in mine. My first memory of the United States' legal system is of the day it told my father that opportunity was a luxury he couldn't afford. That was also the day I decided to grow up, to fight that reality. We lived in Argentina until I was 10 years old. I learned to speak, read, and write fluently in Spanish. At that age, I had no idea what a tremendous impact living there would have on my life. Looking back, it's one of my most important experiences. In the mid-'80s, Argentina was a struggling third-world country. Believe it or not, living in East Los Angeles was paradise compared to the dirt roads, lack of bare essentials, and extreme poverty that the Argentinian population endured. One full meal a day was often all there was. People slept on sidewalks and begged for food in the streets. My father was fortunate to have access to gainful employment in Argentina, so for nearly 5 years he was able to work and save money. Despite his setback in California, he wouldn't give up on America. In 1989, my parents decided to give the land of opportunity a second chance. This time, we went east to Miami, Florida. Miami doesn't hold a candle to Los Angeles in terms of gang activity, but Scarface wasn't filmed there because Brian De Palma preferred the southern palm trees and tropical climate. South Florida was, and remains, the hub of domestic and international drug transactions. The on-screen depictions of gangsters and drug dealers you've watched from the comfort of your plush movie theater seats are inspired by the streets I grew up in. People are murdered daily as a result of gang affiliation and drug dealings. Law enforcement officials are as crooked as the suspects they chase, and government plans to progress such areas are virtually non-existent. I spent my formative years in the company of gangsters, drug dealers, users, and people that walk through life with a vengeful mentality born from cyclical, crushing poverty. And I was no different than the company I kept. Except for the color of my hair and slight accent, you'd never suspect the connection between the volatile gangster and the reputable lawyer. Red is my past. The tattoos are usually tucked under dress shirts and slacks. My car of choice is no longer a lowrider Lincoln Town Car on 14-inch Dayton wire wheels. And when I'm in court these days, the trial isn't mine. By all appearances, I am the embodiment of the American dream. I've achieved everything my father worked his whole life for me to have. I have risen above, reached higher ground, and become a success story. But I can't stop there. I didn't write this book to boast about my accomplishments or garner sympathy for my humble roots or even to rant about the unfairness of the hand I was dealt. I took responsibility for my destructive behavior a long time ago. Now, I want to wake everyone else up to theirs. I want to educate the middle and privileged classes so they might understand how difficult it is as an impoverished minority to obtain the American dream. I hope to remind the members of our legal system that their duty is not to only prosecute, but also, and more importantly, to rehabilitate our youth. Most of all, I want to show kids who are growing up in the grip of poverty, kids who have been beaten down by their circumstances, kids who think it's too late for them, that they too can overcome. Because if my time on this planet has taught me anything, it's that no one has more potential to rise than the person who starts from the very bottom.